Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by Jeanette McKenzie, Realtor at Forest Hill Signature, Jewelry Forever at jewelryforever.ca, and Beautified by Romina. Enjoy the show.
Broadcasting live from Glenmore Record Studios in Toronto, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown, your Sunday morning talk show with interesting guests, live musical performances, and the most fun you can fit in your coffee cup. Hosted by Scott Dion Brown and Regine Alaina, this is The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 208.
I think it's
8. Yes, 208, thank you, of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown. I am your host, the one, the only, Scott Dion Brown. But I am not joined today by the greatest co-host in the galaxy, Regine Alaina. She is away today, so unfortunately you're going to have to deal with just me. But I am not alone, because we do have a guest, and I'm going to bring him in right away, because I can't talk to myself here, everybody. But hello, all of you, welcome. Oh, Regine Alaina is in the chat. Hello, Regine. Yes, you've been replaced by a sign. Yeah, isn't that nice? Look at that. Look at that. I actually got all the info. That's right, Regine. You've been replaced by a sign, but the sign will never replace you, Regine. We'll see you in a week. Jan Jansen Music, hello, welcome to the show. Good morning. Hey, Thomas, see, I'm first. You are first. Welcome to the show. Good morning. Hello to you all. Hit the like button if you haven't yet. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. And let us meet our guest. Our guest today is a music producer, a sound engineer, a filmmaker, and owner of Cleveland Sound Lab, and a cool guy. So let's just meet him, everybody. Please welcome to the sit down, the one, the only, James Nickle. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm awesome, thanks.
Thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for
having me.
So we met. We were both. We had a very important job, both of us. We had the destiny of several singers in our hands. We were both judges at the Canada Center Stage singing competition.
Yeah, that's right. That got a few weeks ago, I guess a few months ago. I forget how to keep track of time. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool event. Yeah, I'm not good with time either, actually. I find I'm always like that. Like if somebody asked me when something was, it could have been 5 years ago. It could have been
3 days ago.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. It's horrible. But then sometimes it's like there's no metric on time for some reason. Sometimes I'm spot on with things, and sometimes, like you said, I'm years off.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm getting old.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've wondered if it's that or if it's just, I don't know I'm not sure if I was ever like that. Like even when I was like in school, I don't think I was good with like, oh, I remember when that was. I don't know. You know what I find I tend to remember things more like if something happened that was really either like affected me in some way or like there's something really specific about it that I remember, I'll remember that super clearly. And then other things I'll just like, oh, I could completely forget it even happened. Yeah,
it's like milestones. If you notice, like during COVID, you'd see people, oh, I saw you last year. No, it's been 3 years because you don't count COVID time.
Yeah.
The strangest phenomenon. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, that's true too. It feels like there's just a hole. And it almost doesn't count. Like my mind doesn't want to count it as a year or 2 years.
Which is unfortunate because, I mean, a lot of people, developing kids or people at the end of their lives, those 2 years really matter, right? To you and I, it's just 2 years in the long stretch of how many years you have. But, sometimes you think of people that were older, and not to get into a whole COVID tangent, but I really sympathize with people that those two years matter and they were stripped of them. And it breaks my heart. To think about it.
That's super true. Oh, Regine's like, you don't even remember your birthday. True, Regine. That is true. That is true. But no, it's true because we've had some artists on here. Again, some of them are teenagers, some of them are in high school, right? And they're talking about the stuff that they missed, like, I don't know, they missed prom or those important like final 2 years or first 2 years of school or high school or whatever. It's like, those are those are kind of the years when you kind of start to become who you are.
Yeah,
you know?
and like big memories are made too, right? So your memory is, sitting in front of your laptop for your prom. But what's cool, what I reassure, I work with a lot of kids as well. I reassure them. I said, when you grow up and this is all forgotten about, you can say, I was a COVID year of my prom, right? Which is kind of interesting. It's like a milestone in history. So there's a silver lining to that.
That's true. They have a unique piece. That's true. They literally went through school through a historical event that we will be talking about for a long time.
Not too long, I hope, because I'm a little tired of it.
Yeah. You know what's the other thing that's weird about that is that I sometimes almost forget. Like COVID also sometimes to me doesn't almost feel like it happened anymore. Like I almost don't. Like there was a time when I was so like, okay, well, can't go out. Like I remember were you doing this when you would you get groceries and then did you wipe everything off?
For a minute we did, because you don't know, it was this looming thing. Everyone in Italy was dying apparently, and then it's slowly coming here, and I thought, and I'm sure we all thought, this is the big one, right? And we're all going to die from it. That's the way it was being projected. And then everything, I was terrified. I remember looking outside going, like, I can't see it, but I know that there's this virus that's gonna consume us. But then and how significant it was at the time, and now looking back, it's almost like it didn't happen, which is a strange, because he went right back to normal like this. Yeah, with the exception of it's appropriate to wear a mask now, and I see people doing it for whatever reason they have or whatever, and sometimes actually I kind of liked wearing a mask because people are gross. Or you go to Walmart and there's a whole family breathing on you. I'm like, I miss those masks where you didn't have that. Yep.
Yeah. It's so weird how serious it was. I remember, we'd wipe out every piece of groceries. We'd wipe it. I remember I would have clothes so I was in the habit of I've been outside. I come in the house, all the clothes that I was wearing outside come off. I have my indoor clothes. I didn't want to it was so, and now it's just this thing that I almost forget. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it was I don't know, like it was a dream or something. Right?
Yeah. That's so weird. I've never heard anyone say that, but I've thought that. It's crazy. In the height of, not the height, but we were still under heavy restrictions here in Ontario, and we had to get to Nashville for business. We're in Nashville frequently, and as you know, a lot of the states they didn't accept, there was no COVID there. And it was strange because we came from super strict mandates. Then we went to Nashville, Tennessee, and we were in a bar with 10,000 people. There was these bars they put in Music Row. They have Chris Young was playing, and it was a big concert. And I'm looking around going, we're gonna die, right? Because that's what we've been told. And then we had to get tested to come back, and we tested negative. And then we had to do the Buffalo route because you're still doing the quarantine thing, if you remember, in the hotel. So we get to Buffalo, and then we took an Uber from the Buffalo airport, and no mask and nothing. And then as soon as we hit the Niagara Falls border, it was like that scene out of E.T. There was hospital tents and people wearing astronaut suits, and then testing, and Niagara Falls is a barren wasteland, and stores are closed, and just the intersection of how they were thinking or reacting and how we were reacting was COVID was a strange thing. It was a strange thing, and a lot of people got sick, and a lot of people lost their lives, and I have always adhered to what they said, but it was a strange and unfortunate thing that happened to us.
Yeah, it's something that the weirdest part, well, not the weirdest part, but something that's really weird for me is sometimes I'll go back and watch some of these episodes that were before COVID, or specifically the ones that were a month or two before. And it's so weird. Obviously, none of us had any idea what was about to happen, And I remember just talking about I never would have fathomed that I would live through something like that, It's just everything just changed so much in such a short amount of time. That's crazy. Yeah. Crazy.
Well, but enough about that.
No. You know what? It's funny. This is more than one episode. We've found ourselves, I guess, again, because it was such a big part of.
Well, it's topical. Sure. 100%. Yeah, absolutely. And it will be topical for a long time.
Yeah. But it's just funny how it's so many times it's happened. We're we meet somebody, and then we always inevitably start for a second. Somebody mentions it, and then we can just talk for just about all the experience.
This tangent. Yeah.
Yeah. But But let's start. First of all, I wanted to ask you about Cleveland Sound Lab. You are the owner, operator of Cleveland Sound Lab. So tell us about it.
So we kind of alluded to, and we tried to, we bantered a little bit before it went on air here, and I said, yeah, hold it for when we're on the air because it'll spoil the beans. But so what happened was so my fiance, she's a big to-do singer, Laura Kevsey's. I don't know if you've taken a look in it, and she sings for the national anthem for the Buffalo Bills and what have you, and radio and whatever. So she woke up one morning in 2011 and said, I'm going to run a singing contest. And I'm like, oh, so she puts an ad out in, I believe, Kijiji or something. And hundreds of people just came to us. And we had no infrastructure. Wow. It was just an idea. She wanted to test the waters. And before we knew it, we were bombarded. So we put together, it was called Hidden Talent Canada. It wound up becoming the biggest talent contest in Canada. People flying in from all over North America. We had, we were live on Z103, and we had celebrity performances, and a lot of our contestants like Roberta Battaglia and Jeffrey Lee, they went on to AGT and a lot of stuff, and worked with NBC. Anyways, this massive thing, and we had thousands of people coming to us for a singing contest. And all these people, they were looking to for our guidance. Where do we record? Where do we do this? Where do we do that? And Laura had this studio that she worked with since she was a child, and we started bringing people there because we knew the guy, whatever. And then over the course of a couple of years, I was bringing the introducing and working between. I just started to learn and pick up engineering and producing, something I was kind of always curious about, and I was a judge on the show, so I was working with him. Then before long, I was running his studio. So he became like the landlord, and I became the producer, engineer, the guy that's bringing the clients and all the rest of it. And we had this arrangement for a while, but it was heavy because it was this standalone studio, this big place that had a lot of overhead. So we had to charge accordingly, and it was basically I was running it with a very expensive rent. And then we had a falling out of sorts, and as you do when there's any kind of partnership. So I said, I'm just going to go independent. So we have a 3-story home, and the whole ground floor is Laura runs a vocal school, and I have my studio. And then went crazy with the gear, and that was in 2016 I did that. And now you do a little bit of work, and you work with some people, and it grows like wildfire. And I'm blessed to be the recipient of that. But I've done some really, really cool thing. I got to do some really cool thing. And Cleveland, by the way, just so everyone knows, because I'm asked this a lot, is my middle name. And in retrospect, I shouldn't have named it that because geographically it doesn't make sense. But I got blessed to I work with people that I used to listen to on the radio when I was a kid. I used to jam to Maximilian, if you recall him. He did Fat Boy and Sexual Healing, 2 massive songs, and now he's in my studio and writing songs together, which it's come full circle stuff, and
that's awesome.
I'm blessed to have that. And then like politicians, I've done radio commercials for Rowan Babber. I've done I did a track for the Nigerian government. I've done just the most random things, ADR for movies, and mini pop kids. I've worked with kind of just about everybody, and growing. So it's a weird business where if you do good work with one person, 5 more people come behind them because they brag about you because they like what you've done, right? And they like the way you've treated them good, and you worked with them good, and you did all right with them. They brag about that, and then it's a strange thing to have a business just kind of grow out of word of mouth. But I'm blessed, and I couldn't be happier.
And it all started with a singing competition.
Yeah, so it was an accident, like we kind of alluded to before. It was an accident. I didn't ever plan on owning a recording studio. It just happened, and I absolutely love it. But you don't know. But I would imagine like restaurant owners. They were a busboy in a kitchen once upon a time, and now you're an executive chef in New York's finest restaurant, right? It starts by accident sometimes.
Yeah, it's true. With those, I think it's the nature of this type of work, right? Because it's not the type of work where, okay, I got hired to do this job, and now I'm going to do this job, and then I work at this job, and you kind of know what it's going to be. I find with this kind of stuff, when you're always looking for clients, you never really know where you're going to end up, because I do video work as well, and Well, I think what was weird for me is when I started thinking, I'm like, okay, I can do music videos for some people and stuff. And for me, it started with like I'm an artist myself, so I started producing my own stuff. But then I realized in learning how to do this stuff, I could also do this for other people. That's kind of where it started for me. But the weird part that didn't occur to me at the time was that all sorts of people need audio and video recordings, right? So it's not just, I thought, oh, maybe I'll work with, singers and whatever. But then I find myself at, random places like
bar mitzvahs.
Yeah, let's think. Like you mentioning, like you've done stuff for certain governments. You don't, like, because you just never know. Oh, this person needs video, and like, I find myself I'm at a church group filming their choir. You know what I mean? It's just
But it's a testament to your good work, right? Somebody said, "Oh, Scott did good by me, so you need video work. You got to talk to my friend Scott. He did a great job, right?" And then all of a sudden, you're the new guy that's filming polka dances or God knows what, right?
Yeah.
I've got I'm shooting weddings now, and now I'd never wanted to shoot weddings because you get pigeonholed after a while.
Yeah.
But I think it's a chance to be artistic as well, but just from music videos turned into weddings kind of thing. And I shot a full-length feature film on last February. A girl I work with, I do music videos for her. She was cast in a role. It was a feature film for Orthodox Jewish women. They put together this film for their community, which is a huge global community. So, I mean, it's like a blockbuster in their community. So, they're filming it, and the director of the movie was stuck in Ireland because of COVID.
Okay.
And they had to start filming. They had the locations, they had the talent, and they had so much going that they had to start filming right away. And then this girl, Malka, says, "What about my friend James?" So they call me, "Hey, can you come in and start filming?" So I'm working with the director via Zoom, figuring what we got to do. So I shot the beginning of the movie. Then the whole crew came in with the lighting and the cameras and all the rest of it. And then I was doing sound for a while. And then I kind of pulled out of the thing because I was just there for a Band-Aid. And then in the middle of shooting, the whole film crew got COVID, and they're union, and they all walked off the job. Can't do it. They had deadlines. I get a phone call in the middle of a snowstorm. Can you come and film? Sure. I get down there. So I shot the first third and the last third of the movie, and then the whole other crew did the middle third. So, which is neat. So that,
wow.
Just out of the blue, I shot a feature film, like a bona fide feature, 90-minute film, and it turned out fantastic.
That's
Did
awesome.
really well, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
So I think I asked you this briefly beforehand, but you mentioned how one came out of the other. So nowadays you said you're about split between music production and film production. So did it start, I guess, so it started from the song competition, you needed a recording studio, and then did video kind of come out of that, or when did you transition in?
So that's actually a funny story, and you can appreciate this because you do a little bit of everything too, right? You know how you start playing guitar, then I'm going to record myself, and then I'm going to become a producer, and then I need and then it just kind of grows.
Yeah.
So I always kind of did like, you come and record, and then I just get a camera and a tripod, and I felt, as like a value added, here you go for a couple bucks. I just,
Yep.
so you can have a little YouTube thing. So then I was farming out my music videos to this guy. He came in with a client one time. I liked his work. I said, okay, here, work with this guy. So every time someone asks me for a video, I give it to this guy. Then I found this guy's charging $1,500 a copy for a music video. And then people aren't so happy. I don't get so much as a thank you for the referral, and I'm not looking for payment, but just acknowledgement or whatever.
Yeah.
And but he's not doing what he said he's going to do, and he's charging a lot of money. And then so that's kind of I'm getting a little bit weary with that. And then one of my clients, her name is Melissa Kadas, and big hi if you're watching. If you're not watching, then you should watch. Anyways, so her mom Kathy, they wanted a music video, and we recorded a song, and then they go, but we want you to do it. And I said, I don't do that. Hey, thank you, but and then she goes, well, we don't figure it out. We want you to do it. All right. So I had everyone's got a DSLR, so I went and I filmed it, and it turned out good. And I go. And I enjoyed the process more than anything. I enjoyed the process. I enjoyed having a vision and then having that vision turn out the way I had expected it to.
Yeah.
And it turned out great. So I go, all right, maybe we're onto something here, right? So I go out and I get new cameras and gimbals and drone and lighting and sound and all this stuff, and then it just started growing, because then you do a few of them at discounted or free, just to really hone in on your skills and make sure that you have something you can actually sell. You're not just, because I see a lot of that now. People are selling things, but they're not equipped to be selling yet. They're still in the learning stage, which is a big no-no for me. Learn, everyone's got to learn, but you got to learn for, you do it for lunch money. You don't charge real money, and a lot of people do. Anyways, so it was working out. It was going really well, and then you start doing these cinematic pieces, and it's not looking like a whole lot of stuff out there, and my rates are better than anybody's, and so is my work. And it sounds bad to toot your own horn, but I'm looking at side by side, and I go, wow, my stuff is a lot better. So the word gets out. Now all of a sudden I'm doing music videos as much as I'm recording music, and I'm loving it. But then like we talked about, it just kind of branches, and it just branches this way, and I'm doing fashion shows, and you and I first actually met on that debut for Kate Brion's, right?
That's right, yeah.
And that was from Jennifer Sy, who had worked with her kid, and how things just kind of work like that. And I watch you, right? You do the exact same thing. You start here, and then I met you as a host, and now and now we're on your podcast, right?
Yeah. It's such a cool, I don't know, it's a cool bit. It's my favorite part of this whole industry, I guess you'd call it. And that you don't know where you're going to end up. You don't know where the next connection's going to come from. You just kind of, oh, do you do that? Yeah, I do that. And then what I love is what's cool about that is it sounds like when you first started doing videos, it wasn't even that you did videos, but they seemed to like you. They liked how you work. So they saw something in your work ethic and how you produce stuff. They're like, yeah, you could do videos. And that's awesome.
But cool. You touched on something there, and it's a big. It is you. It ultimately. I mean, your work has to be good, but there's people that argue that do good work, whatever. But how you work with people too. I work with a lot of kids, and not intentionally, but just kind of happened because kids have the time and the space, and the kids got parents got to keep them busy, whatever. So I work with a lot of kids, and. Kids these days face a lot of challenges. It's really, really hard to be a kid, especially a kid with a gift. If a kid's a singer or you do anything different at school, people just they're ruthless. Other kids, right? So, I like the fact that I could take them all out of that. We're there, and anyone can attest to that. It becomes fun, and I jab at them and I poke at them, and I keep it, because. Also, when they're singing and everyone's watching them and recording, and there's a lot of pressure behind them, right?
Yep.
So I try to de-escalate that, and I try to make things fun, so it just feels like we're all hanging out, and then
even just to get them to a point where they can do good work, right?
Yeah, that's ultimately what it comes down to. I just broke something. This is my last appearance. Here we go. I just destroyed the studio. I'm trying to adjust things, and
it's all right.
I don't even need to adjust it, but it's like a.
Yeah, no, I do the same thing.
Okay, I won't do that again. I apologize to anyone that. Do you have like a delay? We can just skip back and pretend that never happened.
Yeah, we'll edit that one out, definitely. Yeah.
But you could probably appreciate that. It's never a business. It's all about art. So whether you're hosting, you're filming, you're playing guitar, you're singing, you're doing this, it comes down to art, right? That's why you're invested. You're an artist, and whatever the art is doesn't really matter as long as you're creating art.
Yeah, that's exactly how I look at it the same way. In fact, in a weird way, like the technical side, like you have to learn the technical side, but it's almost the part that almost annoys me more. Like for me, it's kind of just like it's a tool, and then but you're trying to create something else, right? That's more. Yeah,
and you do a great job at it. You're highly respected in a lot of different ways. Yeah.
Thanks. Well, you as well. In fact, here.
Look at us. We're just patting each other's back. How about we hug?
Well, Emerald V is in the chat. Cleveland Sound Lab Recording Studio. Yep. The best. There you go.
Thanks, Emma.
There you go. Hey, Thomas, what's up? Welcome. Scott, if you don't mind, where do you do your sit-downs? It is in a studio. I don't know if I should say exactly what kind of place it is.
In Toronto.
A studio in Toronto. There you go. That's where we do it. But hello. And Emerald B's guest. She's been on the show as well. And several artists. That's the thing. I first heard of you, before even meeting you, but just because I saw artists who I've worked with or met in other events and things, and they're out at Cleveland Sound Lab. I'm like, and I thought at first, is there some connection to? Are they going to Cleveland to do the recordings?
Yeah, who the heck would want to go to Ohio?
I was like, hey, maybe it's not, it's known. They got to get up there to, But that's really cool. Actually, one thing I wanted to ask you about, since we're talking a little bit about film, and you mentioned it briefly before we talked, is how you find out when you watch movies, you almost can't watch them because you watch them in such a way that you're almost noticing more the technical side of things when you're watching them.
100%. And I actually find that I get almost more lost. I can watch a bad movie if it's cinematically perfect, right? Because from the score to the lighting to acting, when I see that they've done it right, I'm like, man, the storyline sucks, or maybe the acting sucks, but everyone else involved is like on point, and I kind of get lost in the drama of it all, right? Lighting is huge. I remember watching Game of Thrones. I was never, and I hate to say this, and I might get the flack for it, I was never a Game of Thrones fan. I just don't get it. They don't speak English. There's dragons or what, but I watched the whole thing just because I have FOMO. Everyone's talking about, everyone else watch it, so I have to watch it. Yeah. But I got into it because the cinematography is just stellar. The acting is stellar. The sets are stellar. Yep. The music is, everything's just perfect about it. And some of the scenes, the way they light them, is just, I think that's like a textbook perfect. If anyone, an aspiring cinematographer, is watch Game of Thrones, because they just hit every nail on the head, except for the Starbucks cup. Yeah.
I mean, although even that, maybe that was a special thing they were. No, I don't know. Mistakes.
But who knows, right? Like there's a lot of talk about Disney having a lot of innuendo in their cartoons and stuff.
That's true.
If you read about that, so maybe it was intentional, just to see who's paying. Who knows, right?
Just to see, yeah. What was I just going to say? I was about to say something. Oh yeah, I was just saying about how my girlfriend pointed that out to me as well. When I'm watching stuff, I'll make a comment about, like, because I'll notice. I also find now, like, the more, because right now I'm trying to teach myself a lot of color correction stuff and like filters to use, and just filming stuff. Yeah. And once I'll be researching something, and then I'll start to see it in films, right? Like, oh, I bet you they're using this, and like my girlfriend will be like I'll say something, and she'll be like, why are you even looking at that? Like, why are you looking at, I was like, oh, yeah. Well, like, for example, I've been researching lenses, and one of the things a lot of these lens reviewers on YouTube talk about is the bokeh of the lens. Yep. And like, so they're all talking about, like, so if you make everything
round or hexagonal,
yeah, exactly, yeah, you make everything blurry, whether it's a square, yeah, exactly. And I've never in my entire life of watching movies ever even cared about that at all, right? Like, it's not even something I ever noticed, but I'm thinking now, are all these film people who are talking about lenses are noticing that? I'm like, I almost think you almost have to watch out that you remember that if you're making videos and stuff, you're not making it for film people. You're making it for regular people who are looking at, like, what's in focus, not the shape of the balls.
Yeah, 100%, right? Because lenses, you can have a $100,000 lens. It just gets crazy, right? I shoot with Sigma lenses exclusively, just because you get so much bang for your buck out of beautiful lenses. But that getting into minutia of what the shape of the bokeh is irrelevant. What you need to show, and like you said, it's the general public that you're putting it out to. And there's a lot of stuff, like bokeh is important. You do have to have bokeh. That's how you get that cinematic look. That's how you get engagement and whatever. But the shape of the bokeh is irrelevant. Yeah.
Well, the thing I also notice is now, because I've been watching these videos about, like, lens reviews and things, is that I'm starting to notice like what the shape of bokeh balls is, and so many times in like big budget movies, I'm like, that's not a circle, you know. So like I think they're
you guys chimping out.
Yeah, like they're using stuff too. That's the thing actually that's fun that's noticing now is obviously like we live in a world of like, you know, gimbals, like digital gimbals and robot, you know. I watch older movies even from like the early 2000s or the 90s, and the camera will be like panning in, and I couldn't believe how shaky it is in like big budget movies, like Steven Spielberg movies. Like the camera's sweeping in, and I was like, and I'm like, nobody cares.
That was the technology they had. So the same thing is with if you ever listen to like old rock songs, the vocals are so off pitch. Yeah. Which was totally appropriate back then because that's the sound of back then. Now, if you're off pitch, if you don't pitch correct every single track, it sounds like a mistake. It sounds amateur. It sounds horrible. But back then, it was appropriate.
Yeah. Well, even especially like you listen to, not even just in the vocals, you'll hear like mistakes, like in the drums, especially you listen to stuff from like the 60s. Like
the squeaky kick drum.
Yeah. Or you'll hear just like, I remember I'll be listening to some rock from the 70s and like, oh, the drummer missed the snare there. But there's no snare on that one part. And it's like, oh, well, because... You know, they were like, it sounds fine.
Or they're running out of budget, and they had to get the drum track. It is what it is. Just run it, guys. Yeah. There's a funny Steven Tyler, I think it was on Howard Stern show. He's talking about the song "Sweet Emotion." It starts with the song starts with a vibra slap, which is I don't know if you know, it's like a instrument you bang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It breaks in the take. And so you can hear it in YouTube it one day, and you got to check it out. He goes, hit it, brrr, and then it breaks, and then you can hear it hitting the ground. They kept it in the track, which is
leave it in.
I love stuff like that, just like random stuff you find out after, which is I love that little things like that.
And there's less and less of that kind of stuff today because one, again, it's amazing in that we can like fix everything now, right? You can go in and literally tweak every little thing. That's why it's so cool when you hear like I've watched some old stuff of Queen talking about producing their albums and how like they were obviously recording everything on tape, right? And they were like pushing everything to the limit, like they were putting as many tracks on top of each other and I'm thinking like I have more technology in my laptop than Queen had to like do all the stuff they did. So
how crazy! But then a lot of stuff, a lot of the gear. I mean, the ability to fix things and the digital stuff we have has changed dramatically. But the preamps, the microphones, the SSL boards, those have not changed since then. They've made digital assistants, but Neve 1073 back in 1963, I think, when Rupert Neve designed it, is still used today. The Neumann U87, another staple, still used today. Like they haven't changed any of the analog gear. They've not changed. There's takes on it and whatever, but they still use the old stuff that they've always used since Queen, which is kind of a testament to how good they made it back then. Yep. You just copy it now.
Yeah, and it's also, I guess it's also because like obviously once you get anything into a digital setting, then you can kind of do anything with it, but there's still that part of in the real world where, when you're recording the voices and you're actually doing stuff, that analog part has never changed. Like we still sing the same way we always have, I guess.
100%. So. But with an analog preamp, you just can't get away from that because you get that big fat sound that you can't get out of just a digital signal. You can record like straight interface in. It'll never get that fullness and that big in your face vocals that like
that warmth
that you want, right? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Emerald B says we threw keys on the ground for some beats in my song. Haha. There you go. So there you go. There's that creativity. Did I miss anybody? Yeah, good. Okay. We should quickly do the ads. We're about at the halfway point already. Shot by fast. We're actually past a half hour, which is that means the show's going well. All right, everybody. Today's episode of The Sit Down with Scott Dion Brown is brought to you by the following fantastic advertisers, and let me get them queued up here. Here we go. The Toronto real estate market is growing and changing every day. In these challenging times, you need someone in your corner. Jeanette McKenzie, Realtor at Forest Hill Signature, is committed to looking out for you. She'll go the extra mile to ensure you have all the information you need to make a decision you can feel confident about. Purchasing a home is one of the biggest financial investments you'll make in life. Don't leave it to chance. Call Jeanette McKenzie at Forest Hill Signature. She's my realtor. That's right, the place I'm living in and the one before it, actually. She helped me find it. She's my realtor, and she could be yours. Call today at 416-523-0408 or email at jmckenziehomes@gmail.com. Jewelry forever. Conveniently located at CF Markville Shopping Center on 5000 Highway 7 East Markham, they do custom-made jewelry, repairs, and change watch batteries, all done on site. Jerry at Jewelry Forever is an absolute artist. He specializes in custom-made goods. Do you have a vision for something that you'd like made? Do you need jewelry that needs repairing? Or would you just like to see their already beautiful selection? Head over to Jewelry Forever, and we have a great deal worked out with them. Tell them Scott and Regine sent you. Mention the show. You'll get 15% off your purchase. That's right, 15% off. Mention the show. Tell them Scott and Regine sent you. Regine is amazed by the deal you're going to get. Find out more at jewelryforever.ca. Also follow them on Instagram and TikTok. They post a lot of cool videos on there. Beautified by Romina, an internationally trained hair and makeup artist. She's also the official makeup artist of The Sit Down. She specializes in weddings, live events, anything that you need to have your makeup done. Like the time I went on vacation, burned my nose because the sunscreen washed off in the ocean. I came back. I was supposed to go on stage, and my face looked like a strange clown. And she made me look like a human being again, but even better. Beautified by Romina. Get in touch, rcdassick@yahoo.com, or call 416-473-6089. Beautified by Romina. And if you would like to advertise on the show, it's very easy. All you got to do is hit us up at radioshowad@gmail.com. We do the show live every week, people. And we also do the ads live week to week. What does that mean? It means you can personalize them week to week. Do you have an event, a sale, something happening at a particular time in a particular place? You let us know, and we let your potential client base know in real time. It's a great way to build a brand new relationship with a brand new audience. Get in touch. radioshowad@gmail.com. And we're back. Hello, everybody. Welcome. If you're just tuning in, we're here with music producer, filmmaker, owner of Cleveland Sound Lab, James Nickle. Hello.
Hey, can I just? I love watching you do your bit there. You're a natural. I've seen you host before, and the way you read in the ads, stellar, amazing. Oh. You're like Ryan Seacrest.
Oh,
amazing.
Seacrest out. You know what I mean? Yeah, we've done it a few times. I've gotten used to. I've gotten pretty smooth with the especially the one with the ad. I kind of said it enough times now that it's just like flies right out.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Just I thought I'd just give praise where praises are due.
Thank you. Oh, are you familiar? I think I mentioned these quickly before, but so sometimes on the show we've been doing one or two of these Birdie Bots every flavored beans. So I got these when I went and saw the Harry Potter show, which was good. It's a live show, by the way. I don't know if you're into live theater or not, but it's pretty good. If you've seen the Harry Potter movies, it was cool because it was like they do all this magic stuff on stage, but it's obviously all practical effects because it's live. So it's almost part play, but also part like magic show. Like
that's
stuff
cool.
They do. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But I picked up these every flavored beans. So the thing about these beans is some of them taste really good, some of them don't. So for example, like here's some of the flavors you got. You could have green apple, you could have marshmallow, you could have lemon, or you could have grass, rotten egg, sausage, or even vomit.
And now read the bad ones?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, now the bad ones.
Now the bad ones.
So I figured what I like to do on the show is what we do is I'll pick one. So I'll do it right now, for example. So I've got more than one. Okay, well, I'll put some here. Okay, so you can pick one, and what we'll do is if you pick the one, and then we'll look at the side of the box of what it is, and then you have to eat it. How
about let's go a little bit wilder, and I'll just go blind and
then you just have to guess what you think you got?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. All right, let's pour them all. Okay. So
I don't gamble with money, but when it comes to stuff like this, I gamble all day long.
Nice. All right, I'm closing my eyes. I'm picking one. Although I do want to see what color it is so I can identify which one it was. But okay.
You identify when you taste it.
Oh, well, I looked at it already. Okay, you pick one. Okay. All right, so you're just going to eat it?
Yeah, I'm going blind.
All right, go. Tastes good or bad? Good? Okay, I think, what does it taste like to you?
A jelly bean.
What was a sweet, tasty one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think I saw the color. I think you got green apple, so you got lucky.
Yeah, that's reasonable. Yeah.
All right, now this one I think is blueberry, so I'm not too. Yeah, that one's fine.
Ah.
Okay, I'm gonna do one more. Okay, I'm not even gonna look at this one. Oh, that's tasty. You know what I bet that is? It tasted like almost like bubble gum or... Okay, it could be candy floss. That was tasty. All right, I got lucky this time. Do you want one more?
Yeah. I gotta try this.
All right, go for it.
I'm really curious to see what the grass or the vomit tastes like.
To your right. There you go. Yeah, there's one. Yep. Tasty or gross?
That's grass.
Does it actually taste like grass?
Yeah. It's green? No.
Yep.
It's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's like sweet grass.
Yeah, you know what I found? There are some of them that, even if it's supposed to be the bad flavor, it's not that bad. Like, yeah, I think grass was okay, because you can definitely feel the grassiness, but it's not gross. I remember there's another one that wasn't that bad. But there's a couple that are bad. One of them is earthworm is gross. It actually tastes like dirt, like it's gross.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, and the rotten egg one actually tastes like a rotten egg.
Oh, so, man.
Yeah,
that would have been fun. Oh, well.
Well, we got lucky this time. Or unlucky, because we wanted to try the bad ones, but that's how it goes.
Fun game. I like that.
Yeah. All right, let's box these back up. Actually, one thing I kind of want to talk about, we talked about it briefly before as well, but it got us going. In that, because this has happened to me in this phenomenon where working in this type of sort of industry, you're, jumping from client to client in that, so you'll go through a lull where nothing's happening. And then suddenly you've got like 80 things to do in like a day, So you're mentioning that happens to you. And I was trying to figure out why that happens.
It's the strangest thing. And I always joke saying that my clients must talk to each other, because people come out. I'm in one of those stages now, and believe me, I'm not complaining, where people are coming out of the woodwork. I don't, like, constantly messaging me. I wake up in the morning and I got 10 emails and a dozen texts saying, hey, want to come in, want to come in, want to come in. But then I'll go through weeks where there's nothing, right? And I'm just twiddling my thumbs, and it's kind of like, hey, so give me a call, right? And you start to try to stir things up on Instagram and try to get a buzz going, but it's the strangest thing, and I don't know what it is. We talked about that, right? Is it the universe? Is it just the way it is, or is it a conspiracy? I don't know. It's so...
Yeah, I remember the last time it happened, there had been a lull, a week or something, or maybe a couple of weeks. I don't remember. But I was just like, okay, then nothing's going on, and so I'm working on my own stuff, working on some YouTube, blah, blah, blah. But then, somebody will call me. Oh, they want to do a music video. Cool, okay. Yeah, come in next week. So then I'm like, okay, perfect. You know what? I got this one client. I'm going to take the week and really prepare. I'm going to organize my gear, right? And then suddenly it's like within the same day even, they'll be like, I'll get something else. It'll be another artist wants to record something, right? And then suddenly my agent called and I've got like 3 auditions and they're all due on this, right? So suddenly it goes from, I had one client that I was going to prepare for to like 6 or 7 all in a week. And then what's even more funny is like, they'll all be completely different things, but I need the gear. I need to take things apart and like, okay, so before I'll assemble my camera, get everything ready and have all this stuff in the box and ready to go. But no, I'm going to need this for this job and then I need this for this job. So then you find yourself like barely holding on to get all of it,
Right. And then you keep it all together going, okay, don't forget, I got to get that to there because I need that because I've been on film shoots where I'm just missing something. Mm-hmm. So I like to afford myself another hour or whatever. I always make sure I have time, but I've gone across the city because I got to go get it or go buy a new one or whatever it is, or rent something.
Yep.
But yeah, it's the strangest thing when stuff comes fast and furious. Yesterday, so I had someone that needed to get in yesterday morning to record a song and a small in-studio video. Then I had a scheduled video shoot with Anna we were talking about. And then I had another lady call me and she goes, hey, remember we talked about a video? Yeah, I'm ready. I go, okay, when do you want to do it? Today. I go, we can't do it because there's batteries, there's prepper. But I said, you know what? Let's do it. And it was a studio that I work with. Shout out to the Action Studio. Sorry. The studio I work with, I was in there, and then we were trying to get her booked right after my other clients. I just go, bam, I'm all set up, right? And then just, bam, bam, bam. But it didn't come to fruition. But just a testament to kind of how things go, just crazy all of a sudden. But then there'll be weeks where it's just dry. You know, you get 1s and 2s and whatever. But strange thing. And
you're always thinking like, this would have been like, where are all you guys like a week ago? Like,
yeah,
we could have spread this out. I could have, But there's also that extra part of like, you probably are like this too. You know that feeling where like the day's done, right? And you've been working all day on something and you're so tired, but there's that feeling of like the satisfaction because you got it all done. I love that feeling.
So I'm funny like that, and I get in trouble from my fiance a lot. So last night I'd wrapped the video at about 4 o'clock. Get home, unload everything, dump the footage. 6 o'clock, I had a friend come over. We would watch a hockey game together. Excuse me. He leaves at 9:30, and I had to get some songs out. Just email some songs. So I'm in the studio. And I go, let me just look at the footage. I start going through the footage. Don't want to get the music video done last night.
Yeah.
That I shot the same day, sent off to the Netherlands, all in the span of a day. I shot, recorded, and edited and sent the video in the span of a day, which is cool for me because you can appreciate this. You film something, you want to see the footage, and you want to see what your vision looks like, right? You kind of want to put together. It's almost like building a kitchen. You look from plans and that you want to see it done.
Yeah.
So I'm guilty of that. So I jump on things as fast as I can because I've got a vision for it, and I want to see that vision come to life from these little parts that I've made, right?
Yeah. Well, and editing especially it's a weird thing in that one, editing just takes a long time. Anybody who edits videos, you guys know it takes a long time. But it also has this thing of it eats time, but you almost don't notice the time going by. Like I'll notice that if I sit down and like, I'm just going to tweak something, and then suddenly it's
7
been
hours
later.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And the weird part, it's like 7 hours, but I didn't go to the washroom. I haven't eaten anything, and then what'll usually happen is like, 6-7 hours will have gone by and I'll be like, oh, why don't I feel so, oh wait, I'm starving.
Yeah, I haven't eaten since 6 this morning and it's midnight.
Yeah.
What you mentioned color grading. What do you use to edit?
I've switched to DaVinci Resolve
I'm in the middle of that.
Yeah, so for the longest time, so when I first started like editing as a teenager, I bought Sony Vegas Movie Studio, which is like the really cheap. It was like I think for the cheapest one you could pay like $80 or something for it, and that's where I first started. But then it had like a limit of 4 tracks, so I learned on that, and then years later I switched to Sony Vegas Pro because I was familiar with Sony Vegas Movie Studio, and at the time especially. And maybe still the case, Adobe Premiere was like the big one. But the thing I didn't like is that they want you to...
Subscription.
Yeah, everything's subscription now. And I know that's like the main model, but I still don't like it. Like I like being able to I bought this, I own it, it's mine. If I want another one,
right,
I'll buy another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like renting an apartment or leasing a car. I want to own it. I want the title in my name and I can buy it, I can sell it, I can take care of it.
Yeah.
So I'm the same thing. I was a Premiere guy forever. And I know Premiere like the back of my hand. But then DaVinci's got some crazy, like on the new DaVinci, with the tracking and the stabilization and the depth thing and the color grading. It's insane. It's stuff that I wish Premiere had. And then I'm going, okay, hang on a second. I'm spending, I don't know, $300 a year on Premiere. So I bought DaVinci just because I wanted to stabilize and do a couple things and bring it back to Premiere, which is stupid, but I do that, right? But now I'm learning more and more DaVinci, and I'm trying to get rid of Premiere so I can cancel the subscription because everything, like, it's After Effects and it's Premiere in one DaVinci. It's phenomenal.
Well, because I think for a while what people would do, and probably still do, is like, editors were editing in Premiere, and then they're sending it to the color guy who's doing it all and who's doing the final grade in DaVinci, right? And yeah, I was the same situation except with Sony Vegas. In that Sony Vegas, I'm like, shortcut keys and jumping all over the place. Yeah. And I'm almost there now. It's getting better, but there was this really frustrating period where I bought DaVinci, but I would still find myself if I needed to get something done quick, or if I would still going back to Vegas.
Instead of painstakingly learn, you just go to what's comfortable.
Exactly. And so I found, but now what I'm starting, as I'm doing it more and more, is I'm starting to find myself when I'm in Vegas, I'm starting to try to do shortcuts from DaVinci. So it shows that now, okay, I'm starting to make the transition. So I'm using Sony Vegas less and less, which I like Sony Vegas a lot, especially for like masking and stuff. Although again, DaVinci Resolve seems to do all of those things
amazingly, like nothing.
Yeah, but it's also what I like is that because DaVinci Resolve is the color grading specifically process. It's like I know that when this comes out the other end, it's going to look great because I can get all the colors sitting in the right spot and like all it's just it's fantastic.
It's great, eh? Yeah, I'm trying to go exclusively DaVinci, but again, it's like you said, right? I mean, I'm in Premiere for so many years. I know it so well, the short keys and how to do this and how to trick that to get this to work for me. And but DaVinci, I think, they hit the nail on the head. It's you buy it and you own it.
Yeah, well, and the most amazing part as well is that, like, if you just want to learn DaVinci Resolve, okay, we're talking film stuff now, but people who are, watch, DaVinci Resolve is free if you want.
Yeah, that's the other thing too.
Like, it's amazing. You can literally, I would recommend getting the expensive one because there are more features, and also, it uses your GPU instead of your CPU, so it's faster. Yeah. But if you just want to learn it, you just want to start editing stuff.
Yeah. If you're starting out as a filmmaker, start with DaVinci, the free version, until you need the pay version. 100%.
Yeah.
Hundo P.
Yeah, it's a great software. So you said you use Sigma lenses.
So I picked up the new Sony FX30.
Oh yeah, okay.
Which is just, oh my goodness. So I've got a Zcam E2M4, which is it's a box cinema camera. That's what they use to film Mission Impossible 2. It's like it's a box camera that it's just a full cinema camera. Mm-hmm. And I had it, and it was great, and I still have it, and the footage is phenomenal. It's a cinema camera. You get that silky, beautiful thing, and I put a Sony adapter on it because it's a micro Four Thirds adapter, and I put a Sony adapter on it because I have Sony lenses. That's what I started with, and then Sony Sigma. Sorry, but then the Sony FX30 came out, and this thing is just it's a cinema camera. It's got 4K to 120 frames. It's got everything you can time code. It's got everything you need in a cinema camera in the shape of a mirrorless camera, but what's great about it's got AF. I didn't have that with the Zcam. So I've got an RS2, a DJI RS2 gimbal, and I pull focus. And I still shoot mostly manual focus, but in music videos, sometimes you need the AF, right?
Yep.
Things or weddings or whatever, you need the AF because you don't know what the talent's going to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I found, so actually I purchased I was looking at that, but I ended up buying the Sigma FP.
I saw that,
the camera I bought. And
great camera.
Yeah, it feels good, but it's definitely the thing I'm adjusting to as well, is that I have to be almost selective with, like some, especially if I want to use a gimbal, right? Like I have a Sony camcorder, which is actually like, who uses camcorders, but I found it's great because the autofocus is good and it's light. I can throw it on the gimbal and I can just sort of run around and point my camera at whatever I want.
And that's doing all the work for you.
Exactly.
You set your exposure and then let's see what happens.
Yes. And I've gotten so many music videos and also, exactly, live events, like stuff where if I'm in a controlled environment where it's like a film or something where I'm like, I know, okay, we lost focus there. Okay, take it again. You know what I mean? You can kind of do that. But if you're in a setting where either time is really tight or it's a live environment like that, that autofocus is nice.
So there's no autofocus on the Sigma?
No. Well, there is, except one, it's not that great.
It's like point autofocus, focus once.
Yeah, and also the I think it can follow, but it depends on the lens you're using. Because the other thing I've also started to do is I bought. I got myself 2 cinema lenses. I don't know if you've heard of the 7 Artisans ones. They came out recently. Yeah. So but they're full.
They're full manual.
Full manual.
Yeah.
And I wanted to start learning the proper way of like cinema lens. You know what I mean? And so it's just okay. I can't use that when I can't just throw that on a gimbal and like I know that I'm going to be.
But to be fair, you're not using your cinema lenses for run and gun kind of situations anyway. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. You can just get a native Sigma and then have at her.
Exactly. So it's it's been an adjustment. I'm getting used to it, and it's like so far. So like the last 2 videos on my music video, last 2 videos on my YouTube channel. Those are the first 2 that I've done. Shot everything on my full cinema rig with the Sigma FP. So it's cool. I'm loving the picture that you can get, but I'm still. It feels a lot how long have I been doing DaVinci Resolve for now? I'm not sure, but basically right now using that camera feels a lot like the early days of using DaVinci Resolve, where I'm still like, how do I do this again? You're still trying to figure it out. So it's kind of, it's fun, but it's kind of frustrating.
But it makes you a better cinematographer because you're forced. It's like trial by fire. You're forced to learn exposure manually. You're forced to, and the control you can get over something. If you're shooting in log. Yeah. The control you can get of a shot and what you can do in post is astronomical. I see a lot of guys out there they get whatever Canon they can get at Best Buy for $300. They throw it on a gimbal, and now they're a cinematographer shooting in automatic and then have at her, right?
Yeah.
But you can you can see the difference because it looks like a cell phone video versus a controlled. You can shoot with you're probably going to like 1.2. Sorry to nerd out everybody. You're probably going to like 1.2 stops, right? You can't get that with just a Sigma lens, right?
That was the thing that surprised me so much. The first time I actually I brought in some. Well, for starters, the files are huge. Like especially the Sigma FP, it's uncompressed RAW. So like, I can get on a 1 terabyte drive, I get like an hour of footage on a terabyte of footage, right? But I remember the first time I brought it in and I just started messing with it, and I realized how far you can push everything, and it's like, wow, it's not falling apart.
100%.
It's just. It's cool.
Before we lose the audience, I just got one last nerd question. What do you use to grade? You use DaVinci to grade?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Cinema Grade?
I don't know.
It is the single greatest thing that's ever happened to post-production film. Huh. It's a plugin, so it works with Premiere or DaVinci or a number of the bigger ones. What it does is it's a visual color editor. So you have a bunch of tabs, and you gotta go through tabs. So the first one's exposure, then it's contrast, then it's gamma and hue. And so you click the screen, you drag up or down to make it darker or brighter. Your contrast, drag up, drag down. I don't like the color of your face. I click on your face and I can adjust the hue of your face. If you're too yellow, if you're too red, whatever, you can do that all visually. So you don't have to work with curves. You don't have to work with nothing. It does it all for you. It is the greatest. I think it's like $100 plugin, and it is. I'm great. And then so I grade your hero shot, right? But then I know I've got 15 other shots of Scott from this angle. Just you go to the shot match screen, and I click your hero shot. That's the one I've graded. And every other shot, apply match, bam, it matches all of them. You're color grading a whole feature film in the span of 30 minutes.
Cinema grade.
Grade. Fantastic.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, people, sorry, we're talking, you know what, there are some people I'm sure watching who are also into the filmmaking side of things, so they benefited. But I enjoy this very much. So.
Shop talk. Sorry for you. Do you lose anybody there?
Yeah. Emerald B. Scott, you should do voice acting. Do you do voice acting? You should. Actually, well, I do acting. I've gotten some voice acting auditions. Have I been booked in any just voice stuff yet? I don't think I have. I've auditioned for it though. I would love to do animation or like even voiceover. Voiceover is fun. Anyway, thanks, Emerald B. And we got to get you on the show again. We'll have you on again. We have one more segment on the show. One more segment we'll do. Are you familiar with this? Have you seen this before?
Yeah. Barrel of Monkeys?
Barrel of Monkeys. All right, good. The classic game. So we have a segment here called the Barrel of Monkeys World Championship. Every guest who comes on has 1 minute on the timer, and you see how many monkeys you can get. So here's how it goes. I'll explain it for people at home and also and how we count it on here. So first thing, so obviously the barrel will be on the table closed. I'll say go, pick up the barrel, and you picking up monkeys, hooking as many on as you can. The monkey in your hand doesn't count towards the total. Okay, and if you have 2 monkeys on one, look like that, we only count that as 1 monkey. So what we're counting is links of monkeys. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. So hang on before we start. So everybody, introducing the Barrel of Monkeys World Championship. Love that intro.
This is a throwback. I love it.
So when do you think was the last time you've played this game?
So I would say about 40 years ago.
All right. So you're well prepared then, definitely. All right. So I'll hand you that.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll start. Where do you think you pour it? There, I guess. Oh wait, don't pour it yet. It starts with the lid on.
Oh,
very strict rules.
Right.
Very. Yeah. Okay. So
who's the reigning champion?
Oh yeah. Let's look at the standings. That's good. I forgot
to
about
make
that.
sure.
Okay. So
what I gotta beat.
Current standings, sitting at the top, Scott Dion Brown with 9 monkeys. I'm the only one in first. Second place, we've got 4 people. Tied for second, rather. Regine, Alaina, Leticia representing Team Canada Galaxy, Mika representing JDL Cupid Arch, and Alona Fiandaka. They are in second place. Third place, looks like we got four people in third place. Dr. Angel Patel, Giovanni Ironman Agostini, Colin Campbell, and Joyce Chan. Fourth place with 6 monkeys, we've got 3 people: Nina Kiri, Garson Carroll, and Chad Boulogne. Jalen Bradley got to 5 monkeys. Valentina Sichko, also 5. And then last place, 4 monkeys: Margaret Williams, Jessica Lazaro, and Dana Bedo.
All right, I got time to beat this.
So we have 1 minute on the clock. And let me get things ready. Okay, so I will adjust the camera once you start, but hang on, let me go to camera 2. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready. I was made for this.
All right.
Let's do it, Scott.
Here we go. And I'll adjust the camera. Hang on, let me get ready. Where is it? There we go. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Okay, that's actually a strong start. Oh no, you keep them on the chain. Yeah, you keep them on the chain. You just keep hooking.
Oh.
You're trying to make the chain as long as possible. There you go. Ooh, okay, yeah.
So what is this?
40 seconds.
2, 4,
1, 2.
6.
Yeah, you got 4 because the one's on 1. Okay, we'll count them all after. Yeah, you just keep going.
Okay.
Keep on hooking. It's a good start though.
It's a good start. So I've been training for, Scott.
I knew it. Oh, yep. That's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Yes. Whoa, look at that. 20 seconds remaining on the clock. We might be witnessing something here, people. Oh my gosh.
You know, I'm gonna call it because I don't want to sacrifice. And
8 seconds remaining.
Yeah, I just don't. I know I'm gonna knock a monkey off trying to get that guy.
I think we're witnessing history here,
2,
people.
4, 6, 8,
Time.
9.
I think you're. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna hit.
Look at this.
That is unbelievable. Okay.
See that?
All right. Let me see. Let's count. So obviously the ones with 2 will count as 1, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 monkeys.
The world champion.
10 monkeys, everybody.
That's how it's done. I like to thank the agency. I like to thank my trainer, my coach. I'd like to thank everyone that helped me with my training for this. And this is a big win for all of us. I'll see you in Disney World.
Unbelievable. Wow. We've seen history, people. Look at that. You're at the top of the...
right.
Okay, let's update it. We got to update it.
That's amazing. But I took Scott out. That's yeah. Yikes.
You know what?
That's
It was respectable. And I am happy to step into second place. You also knocked a whole bunch of people who were in second down to third.
Oh man!
Let me adjust this.
That's something else. In fairness, it's just because like that's the way the monkeys landed, and they were just grabbing each other.
I mean, sometimes, yeah, you know what? That initial pour, it is important. But you know what? I mean, you got it. You got it. There it is.
This is something else. This is the greatest day of my life.
You know what?
Best thing that ever happened to me.
You know what? Yeah, it's a huge win. A huge win for
That's huge.
For the whole country and the world, I think.
I just hope that I'm not bombarded when I get to like when I go out in public and
Yeah,
get
you may not.
recognized.
Yeah, your whole lifestyle's about to
It's a
change.
thing, man. I got to get an agent now, and it's big.
Yep.
It's
There
big.
you go.
It's big.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow. One thing we have talked about doing, and we probably will at some point, is having like an episode just dedicated to this, where we bring back like a whole bunch of the top competitors, and we do just like a whole tournament. So we'll have to have you on there for that. That's awesome. That's great. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this week's competition of the Barrel of Monkeys World Championship. I just like to show it.
I love that.
Beautiful. Well, before we wrap up, this is great. This is a really fun episode.
Absolutely. Yeah. I enjoy it.
Can you tell us where can people find you on social media and all that stuff? Find out about Cleveland Sound Lab and everything?
Yeah. So Cleveland Sound Lab is at Cleveland_sound_lab, which I got to change because that's horrible. Just the underscores. But clevelandlab.com is kind of my website. Then I'll direct you to everything. I got a Facebook page, and then reach out to me personally. Let's work on some projects. There's a lot of really cool art, especially in Toronto. Like Canada's the hub for music.
Absolutely.
We're in a massive city with massive opportunity and a lot of people. So yeah, let's make some art. Let's do some stuff.
Boom.
Hit me up. Thank you.
Links are in the description, everybody. So follow them there, Cleveland Sound Lab. And yeah, a lot of artists, a lot of people who've been guests on this show have recorded at this studio. And yeah, if you can look up, so if you look up any of our past guests, you'll find most likely videos on their channels from his studio.
We
So,
got to do a
there you go.
record.
You know, yeah, maybe
You
we
got to
can
come on in.
That'd
Yeah.
be sweet. All right, all you go. There you go, including me. Everybody, if you would like to follow me, go to youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown, where you're watching this very video. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Boom, boom, boom. There you go. You can also follow the Sit Down. Links here in the bottom. You got the Sit Down with SDB on TikTok, Sit Down with SDB on Instagram, and Sit Down Scott on Twitter. But youtube.com/Scott Dion Brown is the best place. It's where obviously you get all the episodes, you get all the music, you get all the vlogs, you get all the live streams, you get everything right here. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and also you can listen to the show on Spotify and many other podcast platforms wherever you may be listening. And if you're tuning in there, hello, and thank you for watching. Everybody, we've come to the end of the show. This was fun. This was fun. It's good chatting with you.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, it was great. We'll definitely have you on again for sure, and also back for to defend your title as the new Barrel of Monkeys World Champion.
And finally taste the worm jelly bean.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have one more?
Yeah, there's one right here on the table actually.
Oh, nice. Okay, do it.
That's right. Come on,
See what it
worms.
is. What does it taste like?
Yeah, that's
Was it good?
I've never, full disclosure, I've never eaten a worm before. But if I was to imagine what a worm would taste like, I think this is it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, perfect. So we even got that as well.
There we
Okay,
go.
here, I'll do one more. All right, everybody. Well,